Well, I've always felt that poetry is a literary form that allows people to say things that perhaps other forms don't, because it's elusive, it's suggestive.
I don't have solutions to the rhino poaching problem, and I don't believe for 1 minute that reading poetry at Reddit on Saturday evening is going to save a single rhino, right? It may just be the tipping point for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to donate some money to the anti-poaching units or whatever, right? Or actually go out and try and see the real animals and get a better sense of what that experience is like, and that can have ramifications.
If the two of us, two poets, could come together at the end of this day and again extend it, why not? Why not?
And I believe that the easiest way of getting someone to change their beliefs or to reinforce their convictions that rhino poaching is and elephant poaching is something that needs to be dealt with is through art forms like this. I know I wrote a poem last year and I found that not only could I convey how I felt about it, and that was disillusionment, anger, but there was also things like hope, and you realize that you can make a difference. And making a difference doesn't necessarily mean doing so actively, in terms of a march. It could include things like poetry, it could include things like songwriting.
It's called The Natural World, a love poem. I don't want a world without elephants, without rhinos, without lions, tigers or jaguars, without orangutans or gorillas, without ancient forests or rivers of crystal waters, without great whales swimming in our oceans. I want a world in which I am blended with nature, embracing her, holding her to me, because she and I are the same. Being with her and in her and of her is how I know myself complete. When I learned about, as I couldn't avoid here in the Eastern Cape, what was happening to rhinos, the brutality of the attacks on rhinos, but I felt that I had to do something, and that poetry was the only medium I had.
I feel that it's not just an issue of expression, it's also a way of reaching out to people. So while songs might be a nice way of, getting a larger audience, I admit they aren't poetry hasn't received as wide an audience as compared to singing and perhaps drama.
Have I become no more than a projection of sorrows, a landscape of wrinkles, a cipher of largesse? The burnt hills beckon. Need it all be said again? Let me approach. Let me tell you what I see in the eyes of you who gape and shoot, or shoot and then gape, or just gape. You without carapace or claws, without strength or speed. Behind the laughter, I see the weak self-loathing. Behind the whispered awe, your terrible rootlessness. I see history driven to the brink of extinction. I see gathered in those irises of strange penetration all the brief centuries of your communal idiocies, your tedious decrees and fiefdoms of tin, your mad rapacities, sad parodies of marriage, your systematic destruction of elephants.
We have a lot of poems about how the animal is poached, how people feel afterwards, but we tend to forget that this is a social issue. And I think maybe if we start looking at it from their point of view as well, we find ways that we can help poachers realize that there are better means of surviving.
I'm not scared of you, I am scared for you. Your scarring, warring, killing ways will one day swallow you whole. Kill me now, for I know that that is what you intend to do. You are not stronger than me, simply bloodthirsty and greedy. I just know that in my next life, I would like to be me again. Yes, I should like to return again and again and again until the last gunshot has felled me to the ground. But imagine, O stranger with a gun, if in my next life I should come back as you, and you as me.
What can we do? Well, we voice our ways in the way we voice, right? And some people do it in one way, and some people do it in others, and a minority of us will do it through poetry. And I think it's just got to be out there. It's got to be in the mix. And it's about not feeling helpless. It's about not feeling utterly pessimistic about the possible outcomes, which one can easily fall into, right? It's about not succumbing to despair.